The descendants of Jacob had come to Egypt as a small family, 70 souls in total, following their beloved brother Joseph, who had risen to great prominence in the land of the Nile. These were the sons of Israel who had journeyed to Egypt with their father during the harsh years of famine. Reuben, the firstborn, Simeon, Levi, and Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher. Each had brought his household, his children, his possessions, their servants, and their precious livestock, settling in the fertile land of Goshen that Pharaoh had graciously granted them for their use. Joseph, who had saved all of Egypt from 7 years of devastating famine through his God-given wisdom and remarkable ability to interpret Pharaoh's troubling dreams, welcomed his family with tears of joy and abundant provision. The reunion was deeply emotional and sweet, filled with embraces, tears of happiness, and countless stories of the long years of painful separation. Joseph's exalted position as second only to Pharaoh himself ensured that his family would want for nothing in their new home in this foreign land. As the years passed in this ancient land, something truly remarkable began to happen among the children of Israel. The divine blessing that God had promised to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob began to manifest in extraordinary and visible ways throughout all their settlements. The families grew larger with each passing generation, defying the normal patterns of population growth seen among other peoples. Sons and daughters were born in abundance year after year, and those children grew up strong and healthy to have many children of their own in turn. The Israelites were exceedingly fruitful and increased rapidly, multiplying beyond what anyone could have imagined when they first arrived. What had begun as merely 70 people became hundreds, then thousands, then tens of thousands of souls. The land of Goshen, once spacious enough for Jacob's modest clan, began to fill with the thriving and ever-growing population of his descendants. Everywhere one looked throughout the region, there were Hebrew families with numerous children, their flocks and herds increasing alongside their human numbers in remarkable abundance. The blessing was unmistakable and extraordinary. These were not merely the natural increase of a healthy population, but the supernatural fulfillment of God's ancient promise to Abraham that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars in the sky and the sand on the seashore. The covenant that God had made with the patriarchs was being realized before the very eyes of the Egyptians. The Israelites became exceedingly numerous and prosperous, so much so that the land was filled with them. Their presence was felt throughout Egypt, not just in Goshen, but in the surrounding regions where they had spread to find pasture for their growing flocks and adequate space for their expanding families. They maintained their distinct identity as the children of Israel, carefully preserving the faith, customs, sacred traditions, and ancient ways that their forefathers had passed down to them through generations. Yet even as they multiplied and prospered in ways that truly amazed their Egyptian neighbors, they remained foreigners in a foreign land. Egypt was not their true ancestral home, though it had graciously sheltered and sustained them for many generations of prosperity. Deep in their hearts, many still remembered the sacred stories their grandfathers told of the promised land that God had sworn to Abraham, a land flowing with milk and honey that would one day belong to his descendants forever. The remarkable and unprecedented growth of the Israelite population was a powerful testament to God's unwavering faithfulness to his covenant people. Despite being far from the promised land, despite living as strangers and sojourners in Egypt, the divine blessing continued to rest upon them in abundance. Their multiplication was not just biological, but deeply spiritual, the visible sign that the Almighty God had not forgotten his promises to their beloved ancestors. As the generations passed and the Israelites continued to increase in number and strength throughout the land, the stage was being set for the great drama that would unfold. The small family that had entered Egypt in a time of severe famine had become a mighty nation, ready for the next chapter in God's sovereign plan for his chosen people. The divine purpose was unfolding through their remarkable growth and prosperity in the ancient land of Egypt, preparing them for the great deliverance that lay up ahead in the unfolding story of redemption. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching.